Hello again, we are now doing example 2 on page 61.
Example 2. Using loops. Counting sheep, badly. Counting sheep, badly at first, but without falling asleep. The plan is straightforward. When a sheep passes through the gate, it breaks a light beam. This sends a pulse to a counting system, which then adds 1 to the total stored in the system. We display this total on the LED array. The 7-segment display would be a better output device. That's a later exercise. The plan seems straightforward, but there will be problems. Note that flowcode 7 single quote has a beam breaker component based on the collision detector. Although this would do a far better job, for now we detect the light beam interruption using more basic methods.
Okay, so we're going to start off with a program which is quite similar to the program that we did in example 1, but we have the addition of a calculation box here, and we're going to use variables of total and sheep, which we'll discuss later. Okay, so it's going to be quite similar, but in the calculation box we're going to put this calculation here, so that will become clearer later. So if I go to the program and put in a loop and then an input and an output, then we also have a calculation box which is something like that, and in the input box we're going to connect that to port A, and then the output to port B. But first we're going to put in our variables of total and sheep, and we could do that in the appropriate boxes, but we're going to do it in the Project Explorer, which is this here, that you can switch on by going to View and then putting on the Project Explorer. Under the globals and variables here, if you double click Add New, put total, and keep it on the default byte from 0 to 255, and add another. And then we want sheep to be in the input variable. So if you select what's in there already, then double click sheep, should replace that, or just delete it afterwards. And on the output, I want to change that to port B. And change it to total. In the calculation box, we're going to have total equals total plus sheep. Now for the sheep itself, we're using for the output, the input, we're using a switch. So the switch is input, and when you use a push button switch, it can only be activated one at a time, like one each time a sheep goes past a laser beam being broken, which is what it's representing. And so this is like 1. Now you could have total equals total plus 1, okay? And every time you go round in the loop, it would add 1 to it, therefore counting upwards, if you like, okay? So I'm going to put in here into the calculation box, double click that. You can just put in total equals total plus sheep. So total equals total plus sheep, like that. Okay, you could type it in, but selecting it avoids any typing errors. Okay, so now we need the components. We need for our outputs, we need LED array, same as before. And for the input, we just want switch, push switch, like that. Okay, so these need to be on port B, which they are, and this needs to be on port A, which mine happens to be. Okay, so if I press play now, and then press, oh, a lot is happening. Now, what if I just press once, I'm getting a number of lights on, and kind of another amount of lights, and it seems to be quite random, almost. Now, what it's doing is it's counting up in binary, but even that, you should see the process of that happening. So what's happening is it's counting far too fast. Now, sheep would go through, but if you controlled them to go through one at a time, then you would be able to see, the counting going up one by one. So what we want to do is we want to stop and add in a delay of just a small amount. So we're going to put in 1/5 of a second. Okay, so how many milliseconds is that? 200, all right, 200 milliseconds, 5 of them in a second. Okay, 1,000 milliseconds in a second, and we'll run it again. Okay, so press, click it once, you can see it going up incrementally as I press. Okay, in binary. Okay, when they get full of lights, when the lights get all the way to fill up the spaces, it moves on to the next light like that. Yeah, and that's how it moves on. Okay, well done.